This is your lesson for Tuesday, the 19th of January. It is a science lesson, and the work that I have planned for you today should take all afternoon. Okay, so there's 3 tasks across the afternoon. So our key question today is, can I identify vertebrae? So we're going to generate questions using a classification key, which is similar to what we did last week. And we're going to identify vertebrae by observing their similarities and differences. Okay, so scientists think that there are 7.77 million species of animals in the world living on the land, in the sky and in the sea. That is a lot of animals. We have discovered and named about 1.4 million of these, which means that over 6 million species of animals are yet to be discovered, and they'll all need names. So classifying them is where it becomes important, so that we can know how to name them. So we've already discovered 5,500 species of mammal, 10,400 species of birds, 10,000 species of reptile, 7,300 species of amphibians, 33,000 species of fish, and 1,305,000 kinds of invertebrate. Which kind of creature are we? Can you remember? Yep, that's right, we're mammals. Okay. When scientists discover a new living thing, they give it a name and record everything they know about it. So what sort of information do you think they might record about this? Yep, they might record how many legs it has, that it has 2 claws, that it has a sting in its tail, and that its shell is quite hard. With so many living things to make records of, and so many yet to be discovered, it is important that we have a system to organise and make sense of the information we have about them. We organise living things into groups based on their similarities and differences, so that when we can learn more about what makes a species unique. The difference between living things is sometimes called variation. You might have heard that word before with different things, the variation, things vary. Okay, so this is task 1. Have a little look at the pictures, and what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pause the video now, and I'd like you to sort these into living things. How are you going to sort them? Okay. So you might have sorted them into plants and animals. And it's easy to sort most of the living things that we can see into the world into 2 groups, either plants or animals. Plants and animals share life processes, but they do them very differently. Can you remember some of the differences we looked at earlier between plants and animals? Okay, when we're looking at animals, scientists usually split them into 2 groups. Vertebrate, which are animals with a backbone, and invertebrate, which are animals without a backbone. So, vertebrate, there's a selection there, and a selection of invertebrate. Now, I was quite surprised to see the fish on the vertebrate side, because I didn't realise they had a backbone, but now I know. Okay, so vertebrate are animals with a backbone. They have a hard skeleton made up of bone. It holds their body up and gives them a shape. So we would also fit into this group. Okay. And then they're invertebrate. So they do not have a backbone or a skeleton and made up of bones. They have a hard shell outside their body to protect them. Others have soft, flexible bodies. So animal groups. So the vertebrae can be separated into the 5 broad groups. So mammal, fish, reptile, bird and amphibian. Now we looked at these in our first science lesson this term, and if you haven't caught up on that video yet, you can pop back on our YouTube video and see the lesson all about separating them into the different groups. But we have already done this, so if you haven't done it, go back and have a little look. Okay, so this is task 2. Alright, what I'd like you to do is get task 2 off Teams, and I'd like you to work out where each of the groups of animals go, thinking about all of the things that we've already learned about the vertebrates. So pause the video now and have a go at task 2. Okay, characteristics. So next we're going to create our own branching keys to identify living things by looking at their characteristics. The characteristics of living things are what make it similar or different to other living things. All species of living things have a unique set of characteristics. Species with similar characteristics are put into the same group, and this is how we classify living things. And this is what you practiced last week when we started looking at classification keys. Okay. So, characteristics of the cat. Now we're just looking at characteristics of every cat, not just characteristics of this cat. Okay, so when we're classifying animals, we're thinking about all cats in general. Okay, so all cats have whiskers, so that's something they have. All cats are awake, well, not always, so we'll have to think about that. That's not a characteristic. Okay, let's have a little look. So some of the sorry guys, some of the characteristics of the domestic cats: has whiskers, has 4 legs, has fur, is a carnivore, and has a tail. And these are not characteristics of the species. Is awake, is cute, likes milk, is a baby, plays with string. Okay, why not have a little think about that? Okay, and this is your third activity. So if you're in the green group, you need to download the green group activity, which is the Woodland Habitat classification. So you're going to have a little think about the questions which are asked here and of the living things here. And you'll put a tick or a cross. And if you are in the red group, you're going to answer these questions here and put a tick or a cross for the living things here. And then what I'd like you to do is use that information on that sheet to create a very specific classification key. So you'll use these questions that you've got here on your sheet to help you break your classification key down. I look forward to seeing that work.